Hello, everyone, I'm Kenshin. Welcome to Talking History. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell. Thank you. Today's historical discussion is about 6 famous double agents in history. According to reports from Agence France-Presse, AFP, and Reuters, on June 6, 2023, the United States Federal Bureau of Prisons announced that Robert Hanssen, a former FBI double agent who had secretly provided some of the highest-level U.S. secrets to Russia in the 1980s and 90s, was found unconscious in a heavily guarded prison. Despite attempts to resuscitate him, he was pronounced dead at the age of 79. The Federal Bureau of Prisons did not disclose the cause of Hanssen's death. Hanssen began voluntarily working for Soviet military intelligence in 1985, revealing U.S. government secrets to the Soviets and later the Russian government in exchange for diamonds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash. Given his position in the FBI's critical New York counterintelligence division, responsible for tracking foreign spies, he could hide his own activities while apparently investigating Moscow-directed spies within the U.S. However, his espionage career came to an end on February 18, 2001, when he was caught red-handed at a meeting point near Washington, D.C., intending to exchange information with Russian intelligence authors. A year later, he was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole for hoarding food during a period of scarcity. Before, I mentioned double agents, and today, I'm sharing a few notable cases. 1. Eddie Chapman, a con artist turned World War II spy who betrayed the Nazis. Born in 1914 in the UK, Chapman briefly served in the British military in his teens and later became a professional safecracker. In 1939, while imprisoned in Jersey, the German-occupied island during World War II, he offered to spy for the Germans but was initially ignored. After being sent to a Nazi prison near Paris, the Germans accepted his proposal, training him as a special agent for the Third Reich's military intelligence. In late 1942, he parachuted into the UK, planning to spy for the Germans but eventually volunteered to work for British intelligence. In 1943, with fabricated attacks on a de Havilland aircraft factory, he convinced the Germans he had completed his mission. Due to his supposed bravery, the Nazis awarded him a medal. In 1944, code-named Zigzag, Chapman parachuted into the UK again to mislead the Germans about their missile accuracy. In reality, he provided deceptive information, redirecting the attack away from populated areas, saving numerous lives. After the war, Chapman engaged in gold smuggling and ran a health spa, passing away in 1997. 2. William Sebold, destroying a German spy network for the FBI. Born in Germany in 1899, Sebold served in the military during World War I and later lived in the US and South America. In 1936, he became a US citizen. While visiting his homeland, he was recruited by the Germans to spy on the US due to the Nazis learning about his brief employment at a California aircraft factory. Sebold secretly reported the situation to the US consulate in Cologne, informing them of the German threat. In 1940, he returned to the US, and the FBI convinced him to become its first double agent. The FBI set up a shortwave radio station in Long Island, where agents posed as Sebold, exchanging hundreds of messages with the Germans. In June 1941, Sebold's work led to the arrest of 33 people accused of Nazi espionage activities. In December of the same year, shortly after Germany declared war on the US, all 33 members of the Dunkerchen spy ring were convicted. By then, Sebold and his wife were part of the Witness Protection Program, and he passed away in California in 1970. 3. Juan Puyol Garcia, fooling the Nazis on D-Day. Born in Barcelona in 1912, Puyol had various jobs before volunteering for British service during World War II. Rejected by the British, he pretended to be a fervent Nazi supporter, offering to spy for the Germans, thinking this would convince the British. After German acceptance, he created a spy network in Portugal, with over 24 fictional agents. Without ever visiting the UK, Pujol created fake intelligence reports using reference books and magazines, making it appear as if he sent the information from London. Meanwhile, he continued providing real intelligence to the British. In 1944, he played a crucial role in Operation Bodyguard, successfully misleading the Germans about the location of the D-Day landings. After the war, Pujol moved to Venezuela, and it wasn't until 1984, on the 40th anniversary of D-Day, that the public learned he was still alive. He later reunited with his children and received honors from Buckingham Palace before passing away in 1988. 1. 4. Harold Kim Philby, senior British intelligence official, a KGB mole. Born in India in 1912, Philby, son of a British explorer and writer, developed an interest in communism during his elite education in the UK. Recruited as a Soviet spy in the 1930s, he joined MI6 during World War II and later became the head of MI6's anti-Soviet section. In 1944, he led the anti-Soviet intelligence operations while secretly passing information to the KGB. In 1949, he was appointed as the MI6 station chief in Washington, D.C., becoming a key liaison between British and American intelligence. In 1951, two of his friends and British intelligence colleagues defected to Moscow after Philby warned them they were about to be exposed as double agents. Philby was suspected of tipping them off but faced no charges. Despite the scandal, he resigned from MI6 but was rehired later, sent to Beirut as a journalist. In 1963, learning that British officials discovered his past as a Soviet spy, Philby defected to the USSR, where he died in 1988. 1. 5. Dennis Donaldson, IRA member turned British spy, murdered for treason. Born in Belfast in 1950, Donaldson joined the Irish Republican Army, IRA, in his youth, engaging in conflicts with the British government in Northern Ireland. In the 1970s, he was imprisoned for planning bombings and associated with Gerry Adams, the future leader of the political party Sinn Féin, and the famous Irish hunger striker Bobby Sands, who died in 1981. At some point in the 1980s, Donaldson became a paid informant for the British intelligence while holding a significant position in Sinn Féin. In 2002, Belfast police arrested Donaldson, accusing him of being a member of an IRA spy ring within Stormont, the Northern Ireland Parliament building, and serving as a senior administrative officer for Sinn Féin. However, in December 2005, charges against Donaldson mysteriously dropped. Shortly after, he publicly admitted to being a long-term British informant, stating he was recruited at a vulnerable time in my life after compromising himself. After announcing this, Donaldson fled to a remote cottage in County Donegal. In April 2006, he was found tortured and shot at the location. In 2009, a splinter group called the Real IRA claimed responsibility for Donaldson's murder, but no charges have been filed in the case. 1. 6. Robert Hanssen, one of the most destructive traitors in U.S. history, an FBI agent. Born in Chicago in 1944, Hanssen earned dual degrees from Knox College and Northwestern University before joining the FBI in 1976. 3 years later, he voluntarily spied for the Soviet GRU military intelligence. In 1980, reports suggest Hanssen's wife, under the threat of revealing suspicious documents, admitted to selling secrets to the Soviets, claiming the information provided was worthless. Pressured by his wife, Hanssen agreed to sever ties with the Soviets, confessing to a priest who advised him to donate the ill-gotten gains to charity. However, starting in 1985, he resumed spying for the Soviets, now the KGB, while continuing to climb the ranks within the FBI. In 1991, fearing discovery after the Soviet Union dissolved, Hanssen stopped his espionage activities. Still, in 1999, while serving as the FBI liaison in the U.S. State Department, he resumed spying for the Russian SVR. With the help of a former KGB official, the FBI learned of Hanssen's betrayal, leading to his arrest in February 2001. Later that year, Facing 15 counts of espionage, Hanssen admitted guilt in exchange for not facing the death penalty. Over 2 decades as a spy, he handed over thousands of pages of classified material, revealing his identity as a Soviet spy within the U.S., details of U.S. nuclear operations, and the continuity of government plan, outlining the relocation details of top U.S. officials during a national emergency, among many other national security secrets. The motivations behind why a father of 6 like Hanssen chose to betray his country are not entirely clear, although money rather than ideological belief seems to be a powerful factor. Throughout his espionage activities, Hanssen received $600,000 in cash and diamonds, with an additional $800,000 allegedly held in a Russian bank. Returning to the present day, while the FBI and the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, had long known about an insider informant, Hanssen was not the prime suspect for a considerable time. U.S. investigators eventually shifted more focus onto Hanssen after obtaining some leads from a Russian defector in 2002. In May 2002, he pleaded guilty to 15 counts of espionage, exchanging it for a plea deal that spared him from the death penalty. When sentenced that year, he expressed, "I apologize for my behavior, and I am shamed by it. I have injured many people, and I have deeply hurt my completely innocent wife and children."